Hey YouTube, good morning. Sunday, almost 10 o'clock. Figured I'd get out here and get some stuff done in the garage. So what we've got now, the boning knife. I've got it viced up, clamped, and I'm working on the handle scales. I've got the first scale drilled out, but this is the material I'm using. Slightly rounded, it's got all these little divots in there, and that's for grip. The customer who ordered this knife said that he wants to be able to have some grip and texture because he's going to be boning some salmon that he catches out in the ocean off the coast of Washington State. So that's where we're at. We're going to be drilling holes and then shaping to fit the handle of the blade. So I'll catch you guys again in a little bit. Alright, what I do, I get one handle drilled out, then I clamp the second handle, the opposite side to it, and I run through my pre-existing drill holes. So now our handle scales have our pinholes drilled in them. Next step is to shape them to the handle shape, obviously, of the blade. So that's going to be the next step. Yep, I didn't use the drill press today for this. I just used my cordless drill. These are 1/4 inch holes because I'm using hollow tubing, 1/4 inch. That way, on the end of the handle, I can put a lanyard through it. And I'm just going to use the hollow pins for the other two spots anyway. So that's how that's going to work. So we'll see you again shortly. Alright, I've got the handle scale clamped to the blade. I'm just going to use a pencil and trace this on the back side of this handle scale. So we'll just go ahead and do that. If you listen, I don't know if you can hear it in the background. Playing some AC/DC. Thunderstruck, one of my favorite songs from that group. And I'm glad that just came on. I'm going to turn that up a little bit. Alright, that one's traced out. The reason I'm wearing the gloves, I don't want the oils from my skin to imprint my fingerprints onto this steel. And that will happen because it's porous. And yeah. The oils will leave fingerprints and it'll actually cause the steel to rust. One way to help stop that, you can use Windex as a neutralizer for the acids in your skin so it doesn't transfer onto the blade itself. Pretty neat trick I learned from good old YouTube. Alright, so we're clamped up here. Just going to do the same thing, trace it out. Now one thing I would recommend, if you're not going edge to edge with a handle scale, if you want to more center it so you have more room to work with, use either your drill bit as a pinhole locator, or you can get your pin materials and set it in there so that you know you're lined up perfectly with the holes that are already drilled. But since I'm going edge to edge, I just line up the spine of the blade to the back of the handle pin. So we've got these drawn out. Next step is going to be cutting them to shape. Alright, so I got the bandsaw out. I cut it close to the defined shape, if I can get the lighting right. Yeah, you can see it here on this angle. I cut it close to, but I didn't want to go to the exact because this is all going to be refined when I'm sanding it down and everything to match the blade, and that'll help me get everything lined up, fit pretty for the blade itself. So there's one of the handle scales, roughly cut, and time to move on to the next one. See you guys in a little bit. Time to refine this just a little bit. Use a belt sander. Now, as you can see, we're much closer to our lines now for where it's going to go onto the knife. But what I'm going to do, I don't like these being flat up here, so I like to angle them towards the blade. So I'm going to adjust my table to where it's down to a 45-degree angle. I'm going to run it back and forth on the outside, and that's going to round it out. So I'll show you the process, or what it looks like after that process. So the next thing about this little 1x30 sander is that it's got a side disc and a little plate. This is the plate that I adjusted to 45, and I ran the scales on the outside across while it was running, and then it takes its shape like that. And you get them two lined up, they both match, they're good to go. Then what I'm going to do next is attach it to the blade itself, do all my refining so it exactly matches the grip end of the blade, and there's a handle. Now, it's not for my hand. Customer asked for a 5-inch handle, so I'm just making out to hopefully satisfy his needs for a knife. We'll see you next time, YouTube. This was just a short one for a Sunday morning.